Okay, hello everybody. Hope you are. Hope you're having an amazing day so far. So, I have had a very emotional 3 or 4 past days, and I think the reason for that was because of a mental model that I adopted from kind of other entrepreneurial influencers. I think it didn't really help me, and I wanted to talk about it. So you're probably wondering about what kind of like mental model did I pick up, and so let me just read my notes. Um, there's this view that some people have picked up in a sort of um, embrace suffering, in the sense of like the challenges you go through when you try and build a business, you're going to be suffering either way. So you just have to embrace the suffering. You need to embrace the pain. You need to go through your trial by fire. And if you go through your trial of fire and you go through it, you'll emerge like a phoenix, right? If you'll be like George and the dragon when you slay the dragon. You'll get the princess, right? It's very dramatic way of looking at life, is like almost, I don't know, like a story or poetic, right? A hero's journey, which is fundamentally humans are evolved to be storytellers. That's how we learn and teach. But that can, I think that can lead to being a little bit too overly emotional, right? If you say, I'm suffering for what I believe in, I'm grinding, I'm sacrificing, that's kind of just making it harder on yourself, right? Because you're not just some um, tragic hero. At least if you're me, you're just a guy picking up the phone, trying to do cold calls, and also doing cold emails in the background, right? And yeah, because I just wrote here that embrace the suffering can kind of lead you towards being over dramatic, overly emotional, and victim thinking, and that's not a healthy headspace to be in, and that can lead you to cloud your judgment and make an not the best decisions, which is literally something I made. I didn't make the best decision on Friday. I kind of like hurt a client relationship because of it, because I allowed my emotions to get the better of me, and then I thought, okay, I can't let this happen again. Okay, so what do I do? It's like, well, what do I think caused this? I'll be honest. I've been thinking of. I've had very almost all or nothing way of thinking. I think my mindset is more overly dramatic than what it really is. Okay, well then I need to work on that, and so what I've kind of like wrote here was kind of me like working on that. Right, when you try and build this mentality of embrace the suffering, right? I do believe, right? I know Stoicism is becoming more and more popular. I just do believe that some people, I don't think they truly understand what Stoicism truly is, because I think you can use that to, I think you can use that to rationalize, um, not the best. I think it's really easy to quote Marcus Aurelius, not understand it, and that can kind of like hurt you. That's kind of what I did, right? And so, like, I don't think I truly understood, like, these Stoic teachings. I took these kind of like things that are known in the Stoic community of embracing suffering, and even that word, it kind of just like, yeah, it kind of makes you like appear in your own mind like a passive recipient of pain, like the world is doing something to you, and you're just enduring it, right? That's not exactly what is happening, at least if you're me, right? I decided to start a business. I chose this life. I knew it'd be hard, and I chose it. And I chose to actively uh, pay a price to get something that I want. And that's not really suffering, that's just trading, right? It's an exchange. You're trading discomfort for future results. It's an active choice, not some passive victimhood kind of thing. And I wrote that this embrace suffering mindset can also make people quit easier, which is literally kind of what I tried to do. I tried to quit on a client. The client said, "Hang on, after 2 months, you're trying to bail." And it's like, "Oh, I don't think I can get your results." And it's like, okay, well, like, don't sell something and to go into business with someone if like you're just gonna quit after this amount. And I thought about it and I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. You're completely right. This was an extremely emotional decision. I wasn't thinking clearly. I think I took advice from the wrong sources, not only influencers but other people. Perhaps didn't take the, or perhaps I just didn't give them the full context when I asked for their advice. And yeah, and it wasn't the best thing. So I think when you try and frame it as suffering, your brain goes, "Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this? This hurts so much. I should stop. I should stop." And when you frame it like that, then you're more likely to quit, right? Or you're more likely to feel more pain. But when you frame it as this is a price, this is what it costs, your brain goes, "Yeah, well, this costs something. This is part of the cost, right? I'm getting something in return. This is a fair trade." It's a better uh, mental model, at least in my opinion, to go about, because one makes you a victim, the other one makes you a purchaser, really, right? Or someone who at least is, putting money down towards something, right? Because I think the idea of like the trial by fire, or you gotta slay the dragon, it's people trying to make themselves or the journey people say. I think even saying, right, because I know I've used like Doc for Journey and I watch those kind of videos. Even that can like kind of make it sound more important than it really is. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not just making cold calls. I'm on a heroic quest. I'm forging myself in fire. But you're not. You're just cold calling businesses, interrupting their day, and doing whatever cold calling framework you're choosing, right? You're gonna hate me. This is a cold call. Trying to hang up now. I'm gonna have 27 seconds to explain why I called, and then you can decide, right? It's really not that deep, right? And so, yeah. So yeah, I think it's very easy to like go into that kind of mindset, but I don't think you should. I don't think you should. Um, And I think when people try and turn stoicism into embrace the suffering, learn to love the pain, you gotta embrace the journey. I think they're not truly understanding what the teachings of stoicism is. They're making it way harder than it needs to be. Arguably, they're making it more emotional than it needs to be, and I think they're almost missing a lot of major points of stoicism. At least what I'm trying to learn. I think I think that business isn't some heroic quest. I don't think it's some trial by fire. I don't think it's becoming whatever, a warrior in a garden or whatever people say. I think it's just this is this is what I want. This is kind of what it costs. This is how much effort I'm going to have to put in. Just you have to decide: am I willing to put that in, right? And if you are, then just pay it and just paying it down, paying it down, paying it down. One thing I did um, that was a really healthy mindset at the start was I kind of thought, okay, every cold call is worth $10, whether they don't even pick up, whether it goes straight to voicemail, whether they pick up and they hang up in the first 10 seconds, or whether they have is a interesting conversation, but they're just not in a uh, they're not like it. The business isn't the place where they're ready to take the next level, or whatever it is, right? Or whether they are interested, right? It's not everyone. At least when I did that, if you make every one of those calls worth $10, and if you say, okay, the deal value I want to get is $5,000. So 5,000 divided by $10 equals 500. So if I do 500 cold calls, then odds are I'll get one or two deals, right? Worth that amount, or like over 6 months. And I did that, and I got 2 clients. So that worked for me. That because I didn't it wasn't over romanticized. It wasn't some crazy journey in my mind that I'm trying to do now. It wasn't some embrace suffering. It was like, this is what it costs. Let's work towards it. And that was a good frame to have, because it was fairly easy to put in the work when I didn't make it overly dramatic or more dramatic than it should have been. Um, when I just thought of it, okay, pay the price, track results, adjust if you need, and repeat. And yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, I'm just looking at my notes here. I think I've said what I wanted to say. But yeah, anyone here? Yeah, so how, if we're not calling this a hero's journey or a trial by fire, then what do we call it? I think we should just call it a trade. That's it. You're trading your time, effort, and discomfort for money and potentially freedom, right? And so it's not suffering, it's not some heroic thing, it's just a trade you're making. And, an exchange, a deal you made with yourself. I'll pay this down here with effort, discomfort, time, and I'll get that, right? I'll get close to that result. And so, yeah, I think there's a much more healthier way to go about things, especially if you're me. I can be a little bit too over dramatic sometimes, and so yeah, I think that's a better way to go about it. So yeah, any final notes? No, I think that's it. It's just, yeah, putting a price, time on task, right? Because we notice that people who um, do well for a long time, it's just the same It's just the same kind of project, right? For a longer time, time on task, paid on that price, and that's it. So yeah, I hope that was as useful for you as it was for me. Hope we have a wonderful rest of your day. And I just realised how yellow I look on the camera. But yeah, see ya. Bye bye.